Go down the list. Good morning. Adriel, Adrian, Anaya, Angeline, and Anna. Oh no. Braxton and Daniel and Demi and Emily and Genesee and Gabriel and Mylan and Samuel and Shakina and Simone and Taj and Vanessa. Did I miss anybody? Yeah, you better get busy. That's what we're working on today. So let's start off with our warm up. Hi, Naya. Our warm up is today is National Clean Your Room Day. How long will it take you to clean your room? Hi, Eric. Hi, Caleb. 5 days, Samuel? Woo! Eric, you raised your hand?
It would literally take me less than 30 seconds to clean my room.
Oh, so you keep your room clean all the time?
No, I'm distracted to a point where I don't even get my room dirty. I'm just too focused on everything else to get my room dirty.
Okay, that is the first time I have heard that reasoning for not getting their room dirty, but that works. That works. Taj, you said 5 to 15 minutes. Okay. Gabriel, 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Samuel, less than a month. My goodness. 5 to 15 minutes, Ryan? Is that what you're saying? 5 minutes. Yes, Adriel?
I probably not even bothered cleaning the room.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know why. I just don't have encouragement to clean the room.
I'm just going to come at this from a mom's point of view. Gross. Yuck. Hi, Savannah. Hi, Demi. You said 2 hours because you share a room with your sister. So would that 2 hours, Demi, like include the hour of arguing back and forth with your sister? Because I had one of my sisters that I shared a room with growing up, and yeah, like if we didn't argue, it would have taken us way less time. Well, we argued, so Hi, Annalisa. Anybody else that has popped in that I did not catch you as you were popping in? Hello, good morning. 40 minutes to an hour, not bad, not bad, not bad at all. So, 7 hours, Emily? Holy moly. That bad, huh? 7 hours. I'm just telling you, those of you who are giving me these long periods of time, my mama heart is just like, oh my goodness. So it always depended with my son on like how quickly he wanted it done. If he was like, this is it, I'm getting it done, it would literally be like, okay, first thing, put all the clean clothes, hang those up and put those away. Then he'd walk out and throw dirty clothes into the washer, walk back, and do it. So it'd take him about an hour. If he was just like lackadaisical about it, it could take him a couple of hours. So yeah, I do. So have you guys ever heard of this idea of clean one thing a day? Have you guys heard that? It's this idea that if you clean or you take on one chore every single day and you just continuously do that, then everything stays relatively maintained or clean. So for your rooms, make sure that dirty clothes go in a hamper and clean clothes get put away immediately so that that gets rid of some of the clutter that might be in your room. And I'm guessing not all of you guys. Well, yeah, Taj. So clean the bathroom. Today is the day I'm going to clean the bathroom. And that doesn't mean just pick it up. That means clean the toilet, clean the shower and tub, clean the sinks, the mirrors, the floors, the whole thing, but clean the bathroom. Another thing that you guys could work on is when you get up out of bed, you pull your covers up and you make your bed. And that's just a simple, easy task to get you through. Little things, right? And why am I talking about this? Besides the fact that it's National Clean Your Room Day, it's all about building habits. They're going to help you. You guys are set to move into high school, and the workload gets a lot heavier, and there's more to it. There will be no more social promotion. There will be no more, well, you only got to have, no. You have to have credits. in order to graduate, which means you have to pass all of your classes. And if you don't pass your classes, we'll be seeing you in summer school. So there's no more playtime, none whatsoever. And yeah, we're not wiping tushies. We're not like, come on, babies, you can do it. No, you're in high school and it's like, let's go. So learning how to manage your time so that things don't get crazy. And I'm using your bedrooms as kind of this idea of workload for school, right? If your room is out of control, how are your assignments? What do your grades look like? How far behind are you on doing work? So picking stuff and making sure that you stay on top of things is a good way to get started. So yes, we're coming up on summer, so maybe that can be a goal for this summer for you. I don't know. I mean, it's a wild and crazy idea, but maybe going into high school thinking that every class counts from here on out. What can you do to set up some good habits that will like benefit you when you're in high school? And I know your rooms are like your areas, right? That is your area. So what can you do in your room, in your bathroom, helping out your parents? What can you do? Yep. That starts a good pattern of behavior, a good pattern of habits that's going to help you when you get into high school. Okay. So just kind of a thought process because, you know, got to have that mom talk as well. All right, so the Module 10 quiz is due on Friday. Now, obviously, you can't do that while you're with me in class because you have to do it on Honor Lock, so that you're going to do on your own. The Global Connections course arc, so I started grading that yesterday. It's 88 points, guys. I have some of you guys that have 2 points. So you guys need to get busy because after today, I am going to be putting missings in. Okay. So you have a choice. You can finish up your course arc. You can be working on your Adobe presentation. I mean, both of them are due. They are both going to close next Monday on the 15th. This is what we're doing. So then you can get a printout of your picture in Infinite Campus or use an old one. Yep, you sure can. Okay. Yep, that works. That works. We allow you guys to use that for Honor Lock. Okay, so this is what you're doing. Okay. Project. Like that's this week. Like that is what we are focusing on is the project. Just as a reminder. So today we're working on project. Tomorrow, I mean, we've got to get the projects done. Friday is attendance and small group meet Friday morning from 10 to 11:30. That is what we are working on. That is what you guys are concentrating on. I have a video. It's kind of TED Talk-ish, if, you know, TED Talk-ish. It's from the Peace Corps. Global Connections, Samuel. Global Connections. It is literally putting everything we've done together, kind of like your project. Emily, were you not paying attention when I went over it these last few times? Taj, you want to go back and look at your grades and, well, then you need to go back and watch the videos. You should have been in the room. So if you logged in and you walked away, shame on you. That's not okay. You're not allowed to do that in a brick and mortar classroom, so you should not be doing that here. All right, I have a video. Like I said, it's TED Talk-ish. It's from the Peace Corps, and it just talks about global connections on the Millennium stage. And I thought maybe this would be a good thing to help you guys get around. But Emily, I went over it multiple days. like the idea, because remember in your presentation, you have to connect the 4 countries you chose in your course arc, and then connect those 4 countries to the United States. So I figured let's try this video and see, maybe this will, like spark, get it? Do an Adobe spark an idea for you. All right. So I'm going to obviously mute myself. I'm going to play the video. We'll be stopping, pausing, going back and forth. And you guys are supposed to be working on your projects. Okay. Any questions on what I want you guys to be working on right now? Awesome. Okay. Give me a moment here. Gotta mute myself so it doesn't reverberate. Okay, Samuel.
To everyone here.
Okay, hold on just a second, because I am not hearing anything, so hold on.
And for those joining us virtually from around the globe, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Global Connections.
It's as loud as I can make it.
From the Peace Corps event at the Kennedy Center. My name is Darlene Grant. I am Senior Advisor in the Office of the Director of the Peace Corps, Senior Advisor to the newest Peace Corps program in Vietnam, a returned Peace Corps volunteer from Cambodia, and former country director to Mongolia and Kosovo. I am delighted to serve as your MC for storytelling this evening. We are joined together as part of the 50th anniversary season celebration of the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts. We are joined and connected by the story of President John F. Kennedy signing the executive order which established the Peace Corps on March 1st, 1961. An international and diverse network of volunteers, community members, host country partners, and staff who each have a unique service journey and story to tell. We are proud that by invitation of the governments around the world, nearly 250,000 Americans have served as volunteers over the course of 61 years.
Yeah, I think I'm going to fast forward just a little bit.
Over 2 years navigating the COVID-19 pandemic, today we have over 600 volunteers in 27 countries. Excited to share with you her love of connection with her story.
There we go.
My neighbor. Please welcome Brianna.
It was a hot afternoon as I watched the Peace Corps truck drive away, kicking up clouds of rust-colored dust in its wake. I was suddenly alone at my Peace Corps site in Mozambique. Just a week earlier, I and 29 others had sworn in as official Peace Corps volunteers. After a 3-day training with our Mozambican counterparts, we all set off for our various sites and provinces around Mozambique. For me, that meant that I was headed off to the province of Niassa, a provincia esquecida, the forgotten province, and the least developed province in Mozambique, or so I had been told by my southern host family. As the dust from the Peace Corps car settled, I turned and I looked at my Peace Corps house, the new place I would call home for the next 2 years. It was a rough-hewn one-story building with 4 units that shared a porch. Across the way was a larger freestanding house, and 9 of us shared this yard that was enclosed by a wall and a gate. Looking at it that day, I had no idea how much this yard, this space, and these people would come to mean to me. Specifically, one of them. Vivi. Vivi was 19 when I met her, and one thing you should know about her is that she has the best smile I have ever seen. It lit up her entire face, and you couldn't help but smile with her. In her 19 years, she had gathered a wealth of knowledge, kindness, wisdom, generosity, enough to rival people twice her age. She was my confidant, my unofficial guide to life in town and in Mozambique, my tutor and my best friend. And I'll never forget the day, about 7 months into my service, that she told me she was pregnant. I screamed, jumping up and down with her in excitement. Amidst the jumping, she told me that if it was a girl, they wanted to name her Brianna. Oh, my heart. And as floored by that as I was, and believe me, I was, the next thing she said nearly brought me to tears. Nós queremos que você seja a madrinha dela, se quiser. We want you to be her godmother, if you want. If I want, I couldn't say yes fast enough. And so, March 24th of that year, little Brianna, Brianinha, was born. And with her birth, my life as a Peace Corps volunteer shifted a bit because suddenly I had madrinha, godmother duties. I carried her when Vivi was tired. I had her on my back when Vivi and I would go out grocery shopping around town. I learned so much from Vivi and the other women about motherhood and life and love. And about a week before Brianinha's first birthday, Vivi came to me, very serious, which was weird because it's Vivi. And she told me that as her godmother, I would have 3 jobs. The first, I had to pick out Brianinha's birthday capulana, that beautiful, colorful fabric that many Mozambican women would wear tied around their waist. Second, I had to kill a chicken in honor of Brianinha to symbolize my love and ability to provide for her. Third, I had to sing a song at the party. Now, the first one was not a problem at all. The real stress just lay in picking out the perfect capulana because I wanted my goddaughter to look fine on her first birthday. The second one I wasn't looking forward to at all. I had been able to avoid this particular aspect of life in Mozambique for nearly 2 years, but it was important, it was a traditional custom, and there was no way I was going to be letting Vivi down. So I sharpened my machete, gritted my teeth, and did the deed. The third was the one that stressed me out the most. Sing a song in front of loads of people. What song would I even sing? I stressed and I worried and I stressed and I worried until finally it came to me, the perfect song. A hand clap song, one of these ones that goes like this, called I'll Think of You. It's a complicated one, and I knew that I needed a partner. Luckily, though, the biggest fan of these songs lived right next door. So I went to Vivi and I showed her the video on YouTube and explained that I would sing the song if she learned the routine with me. Her eyes lit up, she smiled her big beautiful smile at me and she said, "Vamos, let's go." And so we practiced. And we practiced and we practiced and we practiced some more. My hands were red and stinging by the time we finished it perfectly. The day of the party dawns. Vivi and I spend literally from dawn until dusk cooking and dicing and frying, cooking all the different things. The party comes, everyone arrives, there's chicken, of course. There's matapa, there's shima, there's dancing, there's singing. Everyone's having a blast, and then suddenly it's performance time. I stand up, Vivi does too. Vivi hands Brianinha to her father, and we stand there looking at each other, hands poised, ready to sing. And I look at her. This woman who is now 21 with a baby and a family, she's gone back to school. She single-handedly filled me up with so much love that this town in Mozambique has become home for me. And because of her, and because of so many other people that I met during my time in Mozambique, for me, Niassa is not a provincia esquecida, the forgotten province. For me, Niassa is a provincia inesquecível, the unforgettable one. Thank you.
So when she was talking, what the connections that you might have seen, obviously she's an American, right? Working in the Peace Corps. And she was talking about living her life in Mozambique and language and like a lot of cultural aspects, right? Singing, language, clothing, religion. Um, those were the connections that she was able to make within like the one particular story she gave with Vivi, right? Those could all be connections that you make between your four countries, right? It could be language, it could be religion, in this case, Christianity, because she talks about being a godmother. Um, it could be the style of clothing, it could be rituals, anything that, you know what I'm saying? All of those things, like something along those lines, could be the connection you make between your four countries. Okay, let's hear about another one.
Thank you so much. Our next storyteller, Ella Sokuluk, traveled for 3 days to share her story with you. Ella grew up in eastern Ukraine and currently lives in the capital, Kyiv. Ella has 2 grown children in Kyiv. They are both safe and volunteering to support Ukraine. Ella is a certified psychologist with over 10 years of experience as a head of an HIV services non-governmental organization, an organization that began cooperating with Peace Corps volunteers in 2016 on community projects supporting children and youth living with HIV. Ella is now a public health specialist for the Peace Corps Ukraine PEPFAR program. Please welcome Ella as she tells her story, Hearts of Three.
Hi, I am Ella. I have recently arrived from Kyiv, but this story is not going to be about the war. This story is about love, friendship, and connection. Today, I am going to talk to you about the 3 of us, but there are many more people like us behind the scenes. So, Bobby. How do I describe Bobby? Bobby was a tall, cheerful, and very, very intelligent young man from Ohio. Bobby came to Ukraine as a response volunteer, but was evacuated after a few days due to the COVID pandemic. I still remember seeing almost 300 Peace Corps volunteers in the airport and heavy air full of unwanted goodbyes. In a couple of months, however, Bobby came back to soar with Ukraine as a Peace Corps virtual service program participant. He assisted a project in LGBTQI+ community empowerment, activism, and outspoken, and HIV prevention. It's through this project that we met Vanya. How do I describe Vanya? Big smile, shiny eyes, curly hair. A doctor, shy, very shy at first, but with every Zoom meeting, Vanya was becoming more and more active and outspoken. He once said, знаєш, завдяки цьому проєкту я знайшов своє покликання, активізм, which means, with this project, I found the place where I belong, activism. Together with his Ukrainian friends, they eventually took ownership of Bobby's project and wanted to create an all-Ukrainian LGBTQI+ online platform for people to connect and not to feel alone. They were very, very inspired. Plans, meetings, activities, timelines, schedules. And then the war started. Bobby was continuously checking on us. He said he did not want to overwhelm us, but if we didn't feel like talking to him, we could just send him a heart emoji. The first months of war, It was a one-stop exchange of hearts. Bobby's heart asking me, "How are you?" My heart signaling, "Alive." I was very scared at first. But Peace Corps is about volunteering and support. I couldn't just sit there and do nothing. I started volunteering as a clinical psychologist with the recently liberated villages close to Kiev. When Vanya heard about it, he started volunteering with me too. Bobby continued supporting us in the trips via our heart messages. One day, we got to a liberated village. The way was a hard and long. I remember ruined houses, bridges, clinics and school with no windows, air alerts, and very strong smell of cinder everywhere. It was cold, very cold. But 50, 60 villagers were waiting us every morning. They looked tired and very scared. It was difficult work. Every consultation, I listened to the hard stories about occupation. But I also remember that after the consultations, women, children, and elderly were smiling and thanking us. They asked for hugs. It was a lot of hugs. These warm hugs helped me understand that now we are all connected. We are our heart's connection. The war is still raging, but I promised you, this story is not about the war. This story is about love, friendship, and connection, which only strengthens in times of war. And the three of us are still connected via our from connection. Thank you.
Thank you. Please show your love for Ella. And I'm sure that everyone here sends love and support to the people of Ukraine. Next, we are going to hear a story about how the connections made by the Peace Corps impact not only the countries where we serve.
So remember, one of the connections or one of the things that you needed to look for in your countries was about conflict. And this thought of, like she talked about, occupation, and the things that she had seen and gone through, that could also be another connection that you can make amongst your four countries as well. Okay, we've got another story.
Serve, but also here in the USA. Anisa Rahman is a St. Louis-based Peace Corps staff member with the Office of the Chief Information Officer, our IT shop. She also serves on the board of Sankofa, Peace Corps' employee resource group for employees of African descent. She is a crisis responder and served as a first responder during the COVID-19 pandemic, including volunteering on the Peace Corps Overseas Hotline during the worldwide evacuation of volunteers in 2020. During the pandemic, Anisa served as a volunteer with the Department of Health and Human Services at the U.S.-Mexico border in El Paso, Texas, assisting undocumented minors. And in 2021, she volunteered with Afghan refugee families. Anisa is the founder of an art company encouraging the expression of identity, culture, and fashion through creative expression. Let's give a warm welcome to Anisa as she tells her story morning to morning.
I don't do it justice. The azan, the adan, the call to prayer, it rang out every morning in the green, chilly forest of Virginia, which housed an Afghan refugee camp, and called the Afghan families to come outside, to come together in harmony, to turn, to face the morning. I peered out of the window of a safe house, and I watched the Afghan men walk together in stride, kicking their shoes off in the tall grass littered with cigarette butts. And I laughed to myself as I watched the crows and falcons dive in and out of the fog. I thought, maybe the birds are answering the call to prayer too. It was beautiful to see them in harmony, especially during such a tough time. Snoring lightly on a cot beside me slept a young teenage Afghan girl with a purple hijab tucked under her chin. We suspected her of being a child bride. For the purpose of this story and to protect her identity, we'll call her Layla. The night before, our overworked Afghan interpreter had asked for volunteers for the safe house to watch Layla overnight. And immediately, my hand shot up. I thought to myself, I need to volunteer. I can do this. I speak Arabic. I'm a fellow Muslim. I'm a Black girl who lived in the Middle East during the Syrian refugee crisis. Okay, this is the least I can do. I can at least give Layla one night to feel seen, to feel safe, to feel known, to feel protected. And so I leapt at the chance to help her. But for those of you who may not know, like myself, our friends in Afghanistan do not speak Arabic. They speak either Dari or Pashto predominantly, and neither language is easily translated on your mobile phone. So I cobbled together my Arabic, my basic Farsi, and my rudimentary Urdu to give her a makafushe of words saying, Salaam alaikum, ismi Anisa, ana muslima, chetori, chetorasti. Peace be upon you. I'm Muslim too. My name is Anisa. How are you? She couldn't even see my smile because we had masks on. So I looked in her eyes as she wept. She wept throughout the night. So I frantically searched around the safe house to find things to distract her from her own tears. I found a ball that we kicked and might have knocked the light out of the safe house. But what she really loved is when I would draw for her. She would trace the drawings in light pink marker and smile for a moment. So I used that opportunity to teach her my name. I wrote in Arabic and then in English. Luckily, the alphabet in Arabic is the same, so we found some common ground. She lightly traced in pink my name, sounding the sounds of the Arabic letters. Anisa, she said. Oh. And we laughed, and for a moment, we knew each other. I thought, I can teach her her name in English as well. And so I wrote Layla in Arabic and in English underneath, and just again, she traced in light pink, whispering her own name, Layla. And I thought, no, this will not do. You cannot say my name with power, with energy, with emotion, and then shrink and become small when it comes to your own name. No, you say your name loud, you say your name proud. And that was my challenge for the night. She would say, Layla, and I would say, Nai, Layla, Layla! And we would laugh, and the worry lines in her little face would disappear for a moment, giving her some relief. A few days later, her caseworker had processed her paperwork, and she was safely departing the safe house in Virginia. I stood on the steps and looked out, waiting to hear news, and I heard a familiar voice behind me. Anisa! I heard, and I turned. It was my girl, Layla was barreling towards me, crashing into me, colliding, and we hugged each other. We held one another. We still couldn't speak. We still couldn't communicate back and forth. So we spoke our names for all the things we couldn't say. Anissa, she said, cradling my face. Layla, I said, choking up and my heart swelling, knowing I would probably never see her again. I let go of her and watched her walk out up the green grass into the forest to her companion who was taking her to safety. For this story, we'll call him Hassan. As Layla and Hassan walked out of the refugee camp, they walked out to the edges of the green forest. They walked out into their new lives. And they walked into their new future as Americans in the United States. And just before she disappeared off into that green horizon, she turned around and looked at the fog and the crows and the men praying one last time. And then she turned. She turned to face forward, to face her future. And she turned to face the morning. Thank you.
All right, so obviously that one was kind of a tearjerker, but now we have, we have conflict. So, I mean, if you picked like Afghanistan or you picked Syria, you can show any of those conflicts and their connection to the United States. Islam, because they were talking about being Muslims. They even talked about the pandemic. Could we not use the pandemic and the reactions and responses and maybe the connection to the United States that way with your countries? That's just another thought for yet another way you can connect those countries for your project. We've got another story. Hang on.
Thank you. Thank you, Anissa. Our next storyteller is Danish Karki. Danish is from Nepal, where he lives with his wife Narjila and two sons Nirdish and Nirman. Danish has a long association with the Peace Corps. He worked with Peace Corps Nepal from 2001 to 2004 and rejoined Peace Corps Nepal as program manager in 2012. He is currently serving as a Peace Corps Nepal Deputy Program Director. Danish is taking the stage to tell his very personal story about an eye-opening conversation. Please join me in welcoming Danish.
Sometimes something as simple as an event or conversation with someone can impact our lives. When I decided to rejoin Peace Corps in 2012, my colleagues at United Nations Development Program, UNDP, were shocked and surprised. They said, everyone working in development sector dreams of working with UNDP, and you are leaving the UNDP to join Peace Corps? I looked at them, smiled, and said, you don't know Peace Corps. Peace Corps has been reciprocal learning and sharing institute for me. Many times, it has shown me, it opened my eyes, showing the other side of single story. Other times, I have shared practice and value of Nepali culture, and many Peace Corps volunteers inspired. In October 2013, I was enjoying Nepali lunch dal bhat with Peace Corps volunteer Nick Sang in Hopside Canteen. We were on the top floor, and we can look out over the beautiful high mountains and green forest. Nick, a tall, white-skinned male with black hair, was a second-year volunteer from Maryland, assigned to serve as a food security volunteer in a small village in western hill districts of Nepal. Nick was interested learning about the Nepali culture of arranged marriage. Since I had had arranged marriage, I shared him my story. After hearing my story, he asked, त्यसो भए कहिले भेट्न भएको मान्छेसँग तपाईको बिहे भयो हैन? Meaning you got married to a woman that you had never met before. I said, not really. I met and talked to her one-on-one for an hour. Nick asks, do you think an hour is good enough to know a person that you are going to spend your life with? I said, I don't know. But when I first met my wife, Nirjala, she was beautiful, intelligent, and warm. Talking with her for an hour, I felt like I can live a life with her. In our culture, we believe if we understand the smallest particle of substance, we can understand the whole galaxy, because galaxy is an extended form of particles. When I said that, I also said to him that we could understand a person within an hour. If not, it is possible that we may never understand our person entire our life. I don't know how much Nick understood my philosophical responses, but he seemed curious to learn about Nepali culture of arranged marriage. He asked, you seem pretty happy with your marriage, so tell us the secret. I said, as soon as we got married, both of us believed that we were going to form an institution that will carry our values and beliefs for generations to come. I always try to make her happy. She always tried to make me happy. In the end, both of us were happy. I noticed Nick was carefully listening my words and nodding his head. He asked, what does your wife do? I said, nothing. She is a housewife and she does nothing. When you go in the field, who takes care of your two kids, Nirdesh and Nirman? He asked. I said, my wife. Who cooks food for the family? He asked. I said, my wife. When you are busy, who represents you in the social events? I said, my wife. Hearing my responses, Nick asked, you said your wife takes care of kids, makes food for the family, and represents you in social events, and you say she does nothing? Nick's word has touched my heart. His simple question has opened my eyes. Being a male member and raised in a patriarchal society, I realized I had overlooked and underestimated the work my wife did on a daily basis, just like a Mother Earth, who provides us air, water, and everything else to sustain us, but we hardly ever express our gratitude. After returning home that evening, I hugged her, thanked her, and said, my success would not have been possible without your support. That simple, faithful, lunchtime conversation with Peace Corps volunteer Nick Sang has changed my perspective and increased respect for my wife substantially. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinesh.
Okay, so obviously, when he's talking about marriage, that's yet another custom. Do the countries that you've figured out before that you've chosen, do they share any common customs? Like in his case, arranged marriages, right? Is there some custom that each of your 4 countries might share? That could be your connection? I don't know. We got some more stories.
Next up is Kelsey McMahon. Kelsey served as an education volunteer from 2014 to 2016 in a village located in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province. Later, Kelsey participated in Peace Corps' virtual service, work that was so rewarding that it led her to join the Peace Corps virtual service team as a participant support specialist. She lends her firsthand experience to train and support Peace Corps countries with their virtual service engagement. Please join me in welcoming Kelsey to the stage to tell her story. You are never going to make it here.
When people ask me what 3 tips I have in joining Peace Corps service, these are the 3 I offer. 1, always travel with a good book and a roll of toilet paper. You will thank yourself. 2, you can never own too many buckets. There's truly a size for every purpose, and I mean every purpose. And 3, don't underestimate the children. They will definitely surprise you. So like many volunteers, I distinctly remember arriving at my site for the first time. My principal, Mr. Bully, was driving me, and we had exhausted the pleasantries. We had gone through the get to know you information, and everything we had fallen silent. And he goes, Miss Kay, you will never make it here. And I was so thankful that it took so long to get to Mayiseni, that it was very dark, and he could not see the fear that was no doubt on my face. And this fear continued as I started teaching. I went to school to study literature and to be a writer. I did not go for education. And besides Peace Corps' training, I had no classroom experience. So when I stood in front of my 27 learners in their light blue button-downs and their navy skirts and their navy pants, 3 crammed to a wooden bench, I wondered, oh gosh, I hope they can't tell how unqualified I am to teach the future of South Africa. And I heard my principal's voice in my head, you will never make it here. And those first couple weeks, they were rough. The kids did not want to participate. They were either scared I was umlungu, a white person, or they couldn't understand my accent. Whatever the reason, it wasn't going well. So one day after class, it was lunchtime, and I decided I'm gonna go for a walk and relieve some stress. And I noticed some of my boys out playing soccer. I played soccer growing up competitively, and I thought I'm gonna surprise them. So I intercepted their soccer ball made of bread bags. I dribbled it up the field, and I nutmegged the goalie. For those of you who have not played soccer, when you nutmeg, the ball goes in between the player's legs. It's essentially a mic drop on the field. And while the boys went crazy, I saw some Piwe's eyes get big, and Majahonke and Tando, they went, yo, Miss K! And then something surprising happened. The goalie, he passed me the ball. They had accepted me. They wanted me to continue playing with them. And as they started relaxing around me, they started participating more. And the girls in class noticed. And then they started participating more. And then their younger siblings approached me, and their family members would. I would be sitting in a taxi in Ingwavuma, waiting for the 2-hour taxi ride back to my village. And a go-go would reach out and she would say, Miss K, I have heard about you. And she would smile. So the community was really accepting me, and all thanks to these kids. One time in particular, I was out for a run, and I got stopped by the police, who were never in my village, all because of the color of my skin. I was white. They thought, she must be a spy. So they get out, and they're opening the back seat of the truck. They want to take me downtown for questioning. And I don't have my cell phone. I think, gosh, how am I going to contact Peace Corps? How am I going to get out of this? Maybe Mr. Bully is right. Maybe I'm not going to make it here. And a little 6-year-old comes running out, and she bravely looks at the 2 police officers who were concerned for the community, and she rattles off who I am, why I'm there, and it's crazy, I know, but she actually enjoys running. She's not running from anything. She just runs and says, "Gikutanda ukugajima," as she just runs on by. And the police looked at me, and then they got back in their car, and they left, and I didn't see them again. So in short, I encourage you, if you find yourself an outsider or a foreigner in a new community, don't rule out the children, because they might just surprise you and be the ones to show you that you can make it. Thank you.
All right, guys, we are coming up on the end of our class period, so we're going to stop with that last story. But if you think about it, one of the connections that she's talking about, education, she was talking about soccer or football as they call it over there, right? So sports, those could be other connections that you find as well. Any one of those things could be the connection that not only do the countries have to one another, but the countries have to the United States, right? All right, so just as a reminder, Module 10 quiz, it's due on Friday. Module 10, the Global Connections course arc that we've literally been working on for 2 weeks now, which was due yesterday. You've got to get that taken care of. You got to get those 4 countries and their research done and in the course arc. And then you've got to create your presentation in Adobe, okay? And that is it for today, everybody. We are done. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye, guys. Have a good rest of your day.